Ladies and gentlemen, let's gaming.com video. Let us discuss the Steam Christmas sale. It is, of course, December the 26th, and we have some pretty damn good deals on for you. So we're going to start things out with Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition. Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition is a notoriously difficult game. There is absolutely no handholding in this title, and honestly speaking, there are people who get extremely angry for this game. This is Prepare to Die Edition, which means that the PC version does indeed get a few extras. But before we go into the rest of the title, let me discuss a few issues. There were some issues on launch, primarily aimed at the fact that this was not exactly well done as a PC port. That doesn't mean that it's a terrible game. It's just that there were some issues with the resolution and so on that basically were fixed by pretty much third party, in other words, modders. There were a couple of modders who pretty much worked tirelessly to fix this game, and within just a few days it was patched, which meant that the internal rendered resolution looked a hell of a lot better and actually displayed properly depending on your monitor. Is this game worth picking up? If you are one of those players that want an uncompromising storyline, you want an uncompromised experience, you're sick of having your hand held, then yes. If on the other hand you are someone who just wants the storyline, or you just want to play through the game because you want something pretty, then no. This is not something for a player who just wants to experience the storyline as a whole. This is going to be fairly punishing. I would encourage you to pick it up, if only to support From Software. Obviously, a sequel is going to be released soon for the PC, and the developers are promising it is going to be a lot better in terms of a port. So yeah, I would highly recommend this title, particularly as it is 80% off, which means it is only $5.99. Next up, we have NBA 2K14, which is currently available for 50% off, which means it is $14.99. So, I can honestly tell you that I have not really played any of the NBA games, so I'm not really able to tell you much about the gameplay, but what I am able to tell you is that people aren't saying it's the greatest port out there. There are some issues with it basically not having all the next generation visuals that you would expect from, say, the PS4 or the Xbox One, and is indeed missing the custom engine that is inside the PlayStation 4. So pretty much we're getting a PS3/360 version with high resolution textures, which kind of annoys me as a PC gamer, considering that my PC is considerably more powerful than my PlayStation 4. On the other hand, if you're interested in a basketball game and you're, just looking for a fix, then it's a pretty solid title. For everyone else who owns NBA 2K13, from what I understand, this is more of a roster/gameplay additions update rather than, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So you could check it out if you want, do a little bit of research. As I said, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, so I can't comment much further. Next up, for 66% off, which means it is $6.79, we have Gone Home. This is another title that I've not personally played, but scores extremely well on Metacritic, Polygon, as well as various other websites. The idea is pretty simple. You arrive home and your house is empty, and yet of course you expect a family to be there. So you pretty much have to explore and try and find out what has happened to them. It looks pretty interesting and of course is very story driven, similar to say something like Anno or Amnesia, but not quite as scary. It seems pretty cool, and if you're interested in these first-person mystery type of exploration games, then I think you could do a lot worse. Next up, for 80% off, or $1.99 with US dollars, is Hotline Miami. So this game was pretty damn synonymous with a lot of outcry actually on its release, despite the fact that it has a very retro style and outdated graphics. It depicts a rather intense level of violence, but just to call it a kill 'em all game is not really fair. The idea is that you're basically an anti-hero, and pretty much the idea is that you're going to be taking down various organized crime. Obviously, this is set in late 80s in Miami, surprisingly given the name and all. If you're interested in a retro type of action game, there's not much better than you can get than Hotline Miami. It scores very well on most websites. It is extremely fun, and for the price, which is pretty much, less than a cup of coffee, it's just, why aren't you buying it, really, is what it comes down to. Next up, we have Anno 2070. So there's two versions of this. One is the complete edition, which bundles in a ton of DLC, which is $12.49, or just the regular edition is $7.49, 75% off on both of them. So, the idea behind this is pretty simple. The world has changed significantly due to climate change, and thus you must start rebuilding civilization with using the standard city building kind of formulas. So in other words, you need to take care of building the infrastructure, the power lines, blah blah blah, the basic drill. It scores pretty damn well. It's a pretty good game. I mean, there was once upon a time during the late 90s and early 2000s when there were so many of these different type of building games, but they've become less and less frequent now, which is a little bit of a shame. So you don't have quite as much of a choice as you used to, pretty much. On the other hand, as I said, it scores pretty well. It's widely considered to be one of the better titles in the series. So yeah, if you're interested in a city builder, for the price, you could at the very least buy the base game, I suppose. Next up, we have Wargame Air-Land Battle. Available for $9.99, that's 75% off once again. So, this is an RTS strategy game. Now, I'm going to warn you guys right off the bat, this game is not easy. Even the tutorial is fairly difficult. The armory, and there is a lot of different performance and specifications for the various jets, planes, and other equipment that is pretty much part and parcel of this game, and understanding that is crucial to doing well in the battle. This is not just a simple case of, well, I'm going to throw this tank because it looks cool into the battle and that's the end of it, because it's not going to go well for you. Careful use and careful navigation of the scenery, making sure that you have the right vehicles, the right aircraft, the right everything, basically, for the right time is crucial. Therefore, if you're not interested in like a super in-depth RTS, give this one a miss. On the other hand, if you're interested in something that is going to basically give you a lot more depth, a lot more to learn, then this is certainly going to be that title for you, I feel. Next up, we have The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. So there's two versions of this. One is the complete pack, which, well, gives you DLC, and that's available for $6.79, or you can just buy the regular base game for $5.09. So, there is a demo of this available, and quite honestly, I'd recommend you check it out. Some people absolutely love this game, others not so much. It is, of course, an action indie type of affair, so a little bit like Diablo and so on. Personally, I'd recommend, if you're unsure, just check out the demo. It's the easiest way to deal with this, and, well, it's right there, so you might as well. Next up, we have DMC, A Devil May Cry, which is currently available for 75% off, along with the rest of the franchise, by the way, DMC 4 and DMC 3. So, DMC Devil May Cry is going to cost you $12.49, DMC 4, $4.99, and finally, DMC 3 is going to cost you $4.99 as well. Strangely enough, there is nothing off, zero, nilch and nada for any of the DLC. That absolutely sucks in my opinion. So, what do I think of this game? Well, I'll be honest, I liked it quite a bit. I have covered it on the channel quite extensively, including Virgil's downfall, by the way. I like it quite a bit, but here's the problem. Some people are going to say, well, you know, Dante's always been kind of annoying and all of that. Yeah, but that was kind of the point. He was an arrogant person, but it worked with the style. He wasn't this... How can I put it? The teenage angsty version of cool that seems to be going around in things such as Twilight right now. That alone really irritated me. It was one of those games that the combat was good and tight, but it wasn't quite as difficult as maybe as I expected. It is quite nice. The PC version is pretty good. It's actually really well optimized on the PC. A lot of people don't give it enough credit for the optimization. It looks very good. You could check out a graphical analysis on this, by the way, on the channel, which compares it to the Xbox 360. I would recommend it if you're interested in the game. I'm a bit surprised they haven't got the DLC on cheaper offer, but hey, at least it's worth it for the base game. It is going to keep you going for a while. Finally, we have Killing Floor, which is available in two varieties. The first variety is $4.99 for just a standalone, or you can actually get a 6-pack of this damn thing for $25. Well, technically it's $24.98, but who's counting a few cents, right? It is a pretty damn cheap game, and honestly the idea is pretty simple. It's co-op survival FPS, and if you look at any of this and you think to yourself, this looks a bit familiar, this looks a little Left 4 Dead-y, then yeah, you're kind of right. Here's my problem with Killing Floor, because right now it's a good game. It's not a bad game. It just doesn't have quite the following of something like Left 4 Dead. That's not necessarily a bad thing. For example, if you've played a lot of Left 4 Dead and you just want something a little different, then this is going to be for you. But if you've not really tried out the experience before, then sure, Killing Floor is a pretty damn good example to try out because it's cheap. It's just that from all accounts, Left 4 Dead 2 does it better. On the other hand, Left 4 Dead 2 is more expensive, but you don't know, during the Steam sale it could well go cheaper. I'm going to leave this one to you. It's not a bad game or anything like that. It's a pretty good game. It's just not quite up there to the huge budget game that is, of course, Left 4 Dead 2. Anyway, I am going to very quickly go through the flash sales, just in case you guys see these on any other time, and I actually know quite a bit about all of them anyway. Bastion is an RPG, action RPG, and I won't say much about it other than it is pretty incredible. We've covered it on the channel, so you can check that out. The Cave, I haven't played it, but scores fairly well. You could check that out. But Lost Planet 3, I have done a full first impressions of on this channel, including a graphics analysis compared to the Xbox 360. Honestly, compared to the Xbox 360, the PC version isn't super better, but it's a little better. For the price, which is 75% off, $12.49, it's probably not going to be going much cheaper than that for a while. So if you've been imming-ahhing about whether to pick it up or not, well, it's a pretty good chance to do so. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.